I am sat here with Sam and Eddie from Strange Pink. Full disclaimer, I am also in that band, but this is a project about Hull. We're going to look at the good and the bad. I've chosen Sam and Eddie because Sam has lived in very different places in the UK, toured around as a musician. Eddie has been absolutely, whether he thinks it or not, an integral, essential part of various scenes in Hull for a very long time in various bands and various projects. So I just think you guys are very interesting people to speak to because Sam, you've kind of come to Hull at a later point in your life. Or the area at least, having experienced different places. And Eddie, you've been at the very centre of a lot of great creative projects in the city for, for most of your life, as far as I can gather. So we're going to talk about Hull today. We're going to talk about, like I said, the good and the bad, places you like to eat, bands that you love, and things like that. So thank you so much for your time, and hopefully people enjoy this episode. Aside from, shameless self-promotion, which hopefully it will not turn into. Cool. So first question is. For Sam, we'll start with you. You moved to sort of the East Yorkshire area after living in other places like York and Manchester. How does the community here, because you spent a lot of time in York, obviously growing up and then returning, and then obviously Manchester as well, with Nine Black Alps and obviously a period of your life. So, how does Hull and East Yorkshire compare to those areas and those cities in terms of community for you?
Community. I think people are pretty friendly around here. I was in a car crash, a hit and run car crash about 2 years ago, and when that happened, I was just swamped with like complete strangers who came and helped me out and were mega friendly and just felt took good care of me. So that was a nice feeling. I think people are pretty jolly around here.
Yeah, yeah. And how does it compare? Because obviously York's got its, it's a beautiful city. Very kind of peaceful in a lot of ways. Manchester, very busy, very different. A very exceptional music scene. How does it compare to those cities for you?
Um, I think I think people from Hull, they're kind of quite defiant, I found. They kind of realize, I think there's a perception that Hull isn't as glamorous as other places, and therefore people can be quite screw you about it, which I quite like. It's quite nice. It feels like it's an underdog kind of city, which I like.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. It definitely has its place, and I've always thought of it like an underdog city, like you said. Eddie, just to get your thoughts on Hull as well from your perspective, what has kept you in East Yorkshire? Because again, you've been chosen to be in bands, you've built bands yourself, you've cooked here, you've had many jobs, you've met a lot of people in the community. I would say, and I'm sure many other people would, people that know you, that you are a very important part of Hull's kind of creative community. So what has kept you here?
The people really. Yeah, I think the community here is it's just nice, you know. I feel as well like talk about the underdog thing. I feel like there isn't a lot in Hull, but like I feel like it's like kind of like it's level ground to build something upon. Do you know what I mean? It's like I feel like you can kind of have that build it and they'll come mentality. You can start your own shit and then like hopefully things kick off the ground like and I feel like running away from Paul just feels like abandoning it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the friends I've made here and the even the music scene, the food scene, like there's like loads of things that I think like is great. And I think sometimes like those things like in those scenes don't last as long as it do in other places that have like a bit of better funding. But I think it's like the trying and the like it's kind of the Sisyphus thing pushing the boulder up in it, you know what I mean? It's like and I think like having that element of do you know like that fight
Yeah.
kind
Yeah,
of
the
help
the
makes it
grit.
seem more worthwhile. I think more accomplishing, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. There's that sort of grit and determination to Hull, which I've loved, and I've always admired and kind of tried to spread whenever I've been elsewhere. In terms of a trait, then an attribute, this is quite an abstract question for you both, and we'll start with Eddie and go back to Sam. What is it that you love most about Hull? What is it that you? I suppose it's a similar but different question to the previous one. What would you say? That really kind of really motivates you on days you're not feeling great, not on when you got to go to work and you got to do all these other things. What is it that you love the most? Is it a particular bunch of people, places, anything that you really really love about Hull?
Weirdly enough, like there might be a bit in the altitude. Like we're a little bit below sea level,
Mm,
and I feel like it's quite grounding when you walk around the city because we're quite flat, unlike a lot of other major cities, which are about up and down. Like if you go to Leeds, especially, it's like although there's very beautiful scenes in Leeds, you can because of the hilliness, you can kind of see for miles and stuff like that. I think being able to constantly see the sky is like a really nice feeling. And like, I don't think you have to walk that far till you're in like a bit of countryside in Hull. Like you can like drive out a little bit and then like you're kind of in the meadows, you know. It's like
yeah,
there's a lot of like groundedness to Hull, and I feel like when I've been to other cities, when you come back to Hull, there's something very comforting about the city. There's something comforting about the dirt as well. Do you know what I mean? Like
yeah,
there's like a little bit of grime to Hull, and I think like there's something comforting about like I think someone said before, there's a lack of pretentiousness to Hull, and I think
yeah,
that's like a good thing and a bad thing in terms of like I feel like in terms of art, like people are always going to humble you. You know what I mean? Like
mm,
they're going to be like, "Oh, you think you're like a big rock star now?" Blah blah blah. Do you know what I mean? There's an element of that, you know. Like I think like you're always going to have like people who are going to talk to you and be straight with you and just kind of like still be on the same level as you, no matter what level you think you are, what are like, because they're all arbitrary anyway. Do you know what I mean? But
yeah, yeah. That
yeah,
that
I think it's just a
grounding.
very grounding city in a lot of respects.
Yeah, yeah, and again, it has its positives and negatives. So obviously, you're out in the countryside, Driffield, right now. Yeah, you might be able to say something about what you love about Hull, but I guess we can go to the wider East Yorkshire area. What do you love most about Driffield and Hull, if you have a favorite thing?
I quite like it feels I like the fact that it's not really on the way to anywhere. Like the East Riding of Yorkshire, it feels like you're kind of just sort of off to one side, which kind of appeals to my side of me that just wants to get away from people. I think I kind of like being I like the fact it just feels a bit kind of not very cool, which I quite like. It definitely feels like sort of yeah, I quite like the to why are you living there aspect of it.
Right, right, okay.
Oh,
That I guess it goes back to that sort of dirty grittiness that Eddie was talking about. It's I like the idea. Some people say that Hull is the kind of place that people don't like telling because it's actually really cool. East Yorkshire is a really cool place to be, but people don't like shouting about it because it's like a secret. Do you know what I mean? It's like our place.
yeah, yeah. I think that's definitely true. You kind of you don't need to put up a defense because it's just like, well, I live here. It's kind of like I kind of it's got no pretentiousness, I guess. That's
Mm. Yeah, yeah, it definitely feels like that. And again, it goes back to what Eddie was saying, and this is why I've, chosen you two to be on here because it's really interesting to get your perspectives. Do you think, as a band, obviously, taking myself out of it and my experiences, do you think as a band, and because obviously you've both been in other projects. And I'm a big advocate for, you can do anything from anywhere these days. It wasn't the same sort of 10, 20 years ago, I don't think, but I think you could do anything from anywhere these days personally. Do you think as artists, Sam, your solo work, Eddie, and your previous bands, do you think, Hull is a hindrance if you want to kind of get out as a musician, as an artist, or what do you think of the positives and negatives of being a creative artist in Hull? Because on a positive side, I've heard it's a very very creative scene. There's a lot of people that are like, I know it's going to be difficult. There's not the funding here. There's not the opportunities. So let's make something happen. And that's what I feel. But I don't know what you guys feel about that. Sam, can I get your thoughts first, and then we'll go to Eddie?
Yeah, I think it's an amazing place for music. There's so many mu decent music venues here in Hull that is just sort of punching above its weight, I think. And that's just amazing to compare with other places where I've lived, and you kind of have to really fight for somewhere to play. In Hull, there's, the Adelphi, Polar Bear, all these cool, perfect little venues, and that's really that's essential to being a musician.
Yeah, absolutely. Eddie, you might have a different perspective because again, you kind of cut your teeth and grew up in those venues in very, very popular bands in the area, Run Off the Static and others as well that kind of built a really good sort of scene around yourselves and community around yourselves, Modern Mood Swings as well. Do you say the same thing that Sam does, or do you have a different viewpoint? Are you kind of tired of this of the same spaces, or do you think that there's still loads of buzz and there's still a great vibe around these venues that you've kind of grown up in and been a huge part of?
I guess that the scene kind of ebbs and flows in ways. So like there'd be like a really good time for music, and then a lot of them bands die, and then it kind of drops off a little bit. But I think what Sam says is true that like what's great about the whole music scene is that how accessible it is. Like anyone can kind of be a part of that. But that's also sometimes a negative because you kind of bring in like the wrong crowds with it as well sometimes and stuff like that.
What do you mean the wrong crowds?
But kind of like there's a negative aspect to like safety at gigs. Like some people like incite certain violences and stuff like that, I guess.
Okay.
Or represent a certain factor of that. I mean, like in general, I think the whole gigs are fairly safe, but I think like there is like the element of like um negativity that certain influences can bring into it.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, but I think like saying that as a band who are preliminarily from Hull, I think it's harder to get outside of Hull because you're from Hull. And I feel like there's a kind of like that underdog aspect of you can't really reach as far as you want to a lot of the time. 'Cause I think a lot of music in general is kind of London centric anyway, or London centrified, because it's like there's an element of like if you were serious about music, you got to move down to London, be a part of that culture and stuff like that. But I also think it's also a very negative way to do that because I think you spend so much on your accommodation, you spend so much like being there and stuff like that. Like it's like, is it worth it when you're not really being able to? You have to keep working to focus on the music. Where I think in a place that is a bit cheaper, like Hull, you can kind of work a bit less, but then still afford an accommodation. You can kind of work more on the music. You've got the time to kind of reflect and stuff.
I think
yeah.
that's right because like what there's where we rehearse in Hull is Gorilla, and I rented out a room out there for an evening. And it cost me £10, and I recorded like all guitar for like about 4 hours, which is insanely cheap. If you go anywhere in a big city and do that, it'll cost you like I don't know about four times as much. And it's a great place as well. So and they're friendly and they help you out and considerate,
Yeah,
really
yeah.
accommodating. So that's just like one example, but I think that sort of goes at every level of being a musician. There's always something there for you, and it's cheap and it's accessible and it's fun and it's unpretentious and yeah, it's just way easier compared with other cities I've lived in, especially compare with somewhere like London.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just quickly to add to Eddie's point there, Sam, given your musical background, do you agree with everything Eddie's saying? You found success, when you were in the Northwest and obviously in York as well with your other projects. Not that I'm trying to play you off against each other here, and that's certainly not what I'm trying to do, but do you have a different viewpoint on success in music as someone that's achieved a decent level in your own time? Do you think that, you know, there is a glass ceiling for bands in Hull and the North, I guess, because I suppose there is a reality where you've shattered some of those glass ceilings in previous projects, having success in both York and Manchester.
No, I just define success as just finishing a song. I think everything else is complete bollocks. I really, it's you know, being a pro musician is just I'm not interested in it at all. It's complete waste of time.
Fair enough, man. Fair enough. Okay, well, before we go into favorite, go on.
Just to add on to that, Dom.
Yeah.
Well, I think what I was trying to say, it was like I think like the perception of is more of the perception of like a London band versus a whole band, and I think it's kind of like it's not like about um the music in general that people are really concerned about. It's about like I think like a lot of venues kind of take on board about they kind of think that Hull's not serious about music because it's because they're still in Hull. Do you know what I
Hmm.
mean?
Hmm.
Rather than like a band who's like who's moved and packed up to London seems more serious to them and to seem more like a bankable option for him.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, yeah. But there's external factors, of course, which we talk about, and I will ask you a question about the what you would improve about the music scene and the infrastructure in a couple of minutes. There is an affordable thing. Hull is a place where you can build a reputation, but people can't.
We don't want to get gentrified though, Dom, but we can't sell it too much.
No, well, people can't always afford to move to London. That's why I've set up some of the projects I have, just because I wanted to create opportunities for people up here. Yeah, it's again a much wider conversation. That we can continue off record, but in terms of favorite places to visit now, have you got any kind of any kind of favorite spots that you would recommend to people if they were listening to this, watching this, or coming to Hull and East Yorkshire, whether that's in Driffield, Sam, or somewhere in Hull? Eddie, as someone that's involved in the culinary scene and the art scene, do you have favorite restaurants, bars, places that you would recommend anybody go and visit? We'll start with you, Ed, and then go to Sam.
I would say there's a really great Mexican restaurant called Food for Cowboys. We've been there
We've
before.
been there before.
Yeah.
Yeah. I order a lot of
Um,
food for cowboys.
yeah, well, there a lot of the menus gluten free as well because well naturally because of the corn. But they also have like a really great vegan menu. Um, and yeah, just fucking amazing food.
Yeah, it's great. Ever since they've been on the delivery services, I've been paying extra to get them to come out because it's great. I love it. I love them so much. So, Food for Cowboys would be your recommendation, Eddie. Any other ones there that you want to put in, or are you confident and proud of your single recommendation there?
I can list off more.
Go for it. Go for it. That's what we're here for.
Um, I've not eaten there yet, but Brain Jar is a really great cocktail bar.
Yeah, I had a Sunday
Um,
lunch there the other day, and it was absolutely immense.
yeah, to be honest, I know the chef Louis. Worked with him before, and I know he's a good cook. Um, and there's not just place. There's a few more places in town actually, but I think there's also places outside as well, like on the avenues, which is where I'm based at the minute. So there's like this place is called Marla's,
Yep.
which is
No,
like a
that's
nice
great.
like little like sandwich shop slash like they do like the roasts and stuff as well. Um, there's Barley's as well. Like that's an entirely vegan place that's really nice. Well, a little bit out of the way, but in Beverley, I work at a place called Junk Soul Smothered. If you want to come down to that, where it's a completely vegan burger joint, if you fancied the trip or out. Sorry, a bit of selfish,
That's all
bit
good.
of self promotion, but yeah, I mean, like, I think as long as there's a good vegan thing on the menu, I'm down for it. So,
Sam, since you moved to Driffield and East Yorkshire, is there a place you like to go and visit or anywhere you like to get out to when you have the time?
Yeah, well, I've got to say that I know the owners of Ambiente in Holland Beverley, so I've got to say, obviously go there and give them all your money. But apart from that, I had like an amazing sandwich at a place called Flower and Feast in Hull by the marina.
Yeah,
Like it was just, I was almost crying. It was so good. So that's my nomination.
do you know, I've heard a lot of great things actually. I've not been
It's
in there.
yeah, I've been there twice, and both times I was just like, yeah, I had to get wheeled out afterwards. It was just so good.
yeah, it's amazing there, and again a great area, Humber Street, and Oh, it's so beautiful. You see that that's why I love doing these things because it gets me motivated about Hull and just the great scenes that we do have, food wise, music wise. In terms of the music scene, are there any bands that you'd like to shout out?
The only one that springs to mind from Hull that I can think of was a band called Baby Flowers, but I think they've just split up. So
Yeah, Baby Flowers are great, man. Yeah,
yeah,
Baby
they were
Flowers.
really. I was blown away by them. But have they split up or?
I think Kane ended up going. He's now. I think he's now on a cruise ship. He does travels around the world on cruises, so
Right.
he's doing really well for himself. And fair play to him. But Baby Flowers were great. I remember you bought a shirt. Hello, cat.
Yeah,
There's a cat in the background. This is the other reason why we do videos on these things because people don't
yeah.
come.
This is Gilmore.
Hey, Gilmore. People don't
Gilmore.
come for the people. They come for the drinking the
Yeah,
water.
Gilmore's 17 and he's having his drink.
There you go. You see, that's what the water was there for. Now I
Oh
understand.
yeah, he doesn't drink out of his bowl. He just has out of the glass.
Yeah,
Has
yeah.
to be topped up every day.
If anybody understands, people go, why do you do those as videos? Why do you do them like that? And I'm like, because people just want to see pets. They don't actually want to see the people. They just want to see
Oh yeah.
the pets of Hull and East Yorkshire.
Yeah.
Okay, so Sam has given us Baby Flowers. Again, great band. Eddie, your favorite musicians, artists, and creatives from the scene, please, and why?
Okay, I had to run off actually to get a list actually because I knew this question was coming, so I was like, I'm gonna forget loads of bands. But as well, like a lot of them have split up, so I don't. There's not a lot. But Bedsit, are they still around?
Bedsit because of the same reason of Baby Flowers. Kane is away a
Okay, yeah,
lot,
yeah, but
but they
they're
are
cool.
around. They are around. They do exist, but they're on a break.
Wench, I like them. They're cool. I think they've recently played Reading and Leeds as well, didn't
Did. They
they?
did.
Yeah. Um, Bugfacer, who we played with at Brew, we were our other band, Creature Honey, which was
Mhm.
really cool. Um, Evil Will Prevail. I saw them recently with another band I'm going to mention as well, but they were kind of like post rocky, but then like math rock in there as well, like
Yeah.
but it was just like a three piece, but they had like a really nice. I think he had like a projection out and like loads of visuals and stuff, and like I think in Hull as well, like when someone like whips out like a projector, you're like, oh, it's gonna probably gonna be quite good, isn't it? You know. But they were supporting another band. I'm really going to like a portable memory of.
I saw them the other day, man. I meant to text you. I meant to text you just after because they blew my mind, dude. Like
Yeah, they're so young as well. Like they're
yeah,
like the music they're listening to. I'm like, I wasn't that cool when I was that age. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
I'm thinking actually. I'm thinking I'd love to do something with them because
Yeah.
they're so good. They're so good. Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, sorry, Eddie, I interrupted you just because they made me real. Like me and Nick were sat there. We saw them support Dream Weapons, and we were like, I was like getting emotional because I was like, this is really fucking good. So shout out to Portable Memory of. Definitely want to do something with them down the line. Anything else? Sorry, I interrupted your flow.
Oh no, 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 it's fine. Yeah, yeah. Obviously Bedroom. Who did a remix for us? Yeah, Bedroom. Life.
Yeah,
Like I'm friends with all them actually. They're quite nice people to be fair. So
they are
I'll
nice
give a shout
people.
out to Life.
Yeah, and a good
Um,
example, Bedroom and Life are good examples, even though I think Brian's in Manchester now playing with Daniel Avery. I
mm,
think some of them are still here, the rest of them, they've hundreds of thousands of stream of listens, every month, toured the world. So good example, Life as well, plenty of European tours under their belt. So you again, I am of the opinion, and feel free to disagree with me, anybody watching this, but you can do anything from anywhere. And I think that whole grit kind of prepares you for that, what we were talking about, the graft. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
To
yeah.
make things happen, which,
Yeah,
like,
I feel like it was you could kind of say that like Life left a life shape hole, and they're kind of like everyone like other bands could follow because it's like oh they're done all right. Do you know what I mean? And they're from Hull, a little bit from Hull, but um, and it's like well we could probably do that. I mean I mean it's like it's different music as well I think, but yeah I think it's like I think it helped people realize you could do that. Do you know what I mean?
Spiders from
absolutely.
Mars. Spiders from Mars, surely, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
I'll
yeah,
say that.
absolutely. Meg Ronson,
Yeah,
indeed.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, indeed. You've got a beautiful South, House Martins. There's so many examples of bands from Hull, and this, and like say Sam, you were saying like the scene is really good, and it always has been. It just doesn't have the national
Mm.
reputation of a London or Manchester.
Well, I was just gonna say there's a few legacy bands that I wanted to just shout out
Go for it.
because they're now deceased, but they're still some of the best bands in all. The Holy Orders, which is the best live band I've ever seen in Hull. Just loud. They've just got like really nice gear, really nice sound. It's just
I
like
remember
in
I
your
saw
face.
them, I think. I think I saw them.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
really nice.
They're quite scary, weren't they? I seem to remember. I, the good presence to them. I thought good singer.
Yeah,
There's a
absolutely.
Rosemary's Baby,
Yeah.
which was like a quite short-lived now actually. But
Mm,
yeah, like great like I can't what was it described it as? Um, it was like kind of like there was a riot girl elements to it, but
it
there's
was.
ukulele and like there's like really acoustic elements to it, but like it's still fierce and loud, I think.
Yeah, I would say Kieran, I've always said that, particularly in terms of homegrown musicians, you're my favorite, Eddie, but Kieran Hall and Rosie, incredible musicians, good friends as well. So shout out to them. I'm really happy that, uh,
Well, Rothko as well, because Kieran's new band
yeah,
Rothko, is really cool as well.
absolutely. Yeah, we had the privilege of helping them out on their EP. They're absolutely fantastic band. Shout out to Nick the Muscle Russell as well, who produced that. And yeah, incredible, incredible bands doing cool things. So yeah, thank you for that, guys. Anything else to add, Eddie? I always like I don't want to like interrupt your flow.
Left Ahead. I give
Yeah,
a shout to Left Ahead actually because they were just a really great. I think really good with political lyricism. Like I feel like I learned a lot from listening to their songs, more so than I would than any other bands. I think.
yeah,
Um,
we got a lot of we got a lot of attention as well. They're really good,
yeah.
excellent
Um,
live show.
Nora as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, man. Casey Stead, who's been on this before as well. I love Casey. Someone said in the comments on the video, the last one, that there'll be a statue of Casey Stead in Hull someday, and I hope that they're right, because I got all the time in the world for Casey and his various projects, and of course your bandmate in Modern Mood Swings, which we hope returns one day. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Now it's on record. What would you improve about the infrastructure of Hull as a city? You can comment on the music scene across the board. There is no shackle on you when I ask this question. Are there any things you'd like to improve about the city or its scenes?
I'd replace the mayor for starters. He seems like a nasty man. Apart from that, I think just trying to find some way of making the city centre, the high street, a bit less abandoned.
White Frigate.
What
Yeah.
was that?
White Frigate, you mean?
Oh yeah, no, just yeah, and all the sort of around, like where we used to practice. It was, I think it was turned into a recording studio
Was,
and a
yeah.
practice room, and that was really cool. Sort
Unit
of
45,
space.
shout out, yeah.
Yeah, a good use of space that was like derelict otherwise. And now, I would hope for a few more projects like that. I know it's all funding based, but yeah, it's just a bit sad because the pockets of Hull that are great, like really creative and inspiring. There's obviously a lot of creative, talented people there, but they're just not able to use the spaces. Like I wanted to, I'd like somewhere to record, and there's all these like sort of abandoned buildings everywhere. So why can't we use them?
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
that's and apart from that, there's just too many roundabouts. But I'll pass over to Eddie now.
Yeah. While you're thinking, I'm going to shout out Alan Raw, because he was instrumental in that space and the funding for Unit 45. So, Alan Raw from the formerly of the BBC, just want to on record shout out him as a great creative leader in the city.
Because Hull is a very working class city. I do think where there is it's easy to cave into the conspiracies of people believing that immigration is the reason why they can't succeed in Hull. Because I feel
Yeah.
like you kind of like when you experience poverty more, I think it's easier to lash out to the people who the changes that happen in the city, which is like a higher immigration, which is because of Brexit to a certain extent. Um, and I think people see that as a I think people are lashing out in the wrong ways. And I think where I think having the ability to change people's perceptions and help them see that like it's the billionaires that are kind of the ones that are kind of fucking them over. I think that'll probably be a great help. 'Cause I think there were signs like even before like all this like all the riots and stuff that happened in Hull, where like people were, like throwing like signs saying Hull is full, and I'm like, it's not fucking full at all. Do you know what I mean? It's like we can open our doors and we can let more people in and we can still create positive change that help the city without creating a divide between people from different parts of the world, I think.
Yeah, yeah. Without going into too much detail on my point of view, because it's about you guys, I certainly agree with a lot of what you're saying there. I think the more people can come into Hull and experience it from different backgrounds and abilities, etc., the better it is. And I think we've seen that in, some of the major cities. It's better the more people we can bring in from different backgrounds. Sam, I'm going to give you the opportunity, whether you want to add anything or not, to add to that if you'd like.
No, I think Eddie put it well. It's just, yeah, there's a lot of I guess it's all rooted in poverty, you know. There's a lot of poverty and crime in Hull and lack of opportunities, and people are certain people are happy to blame people because they have different colored skin, which is just really sad in the 21st century, you know.
Yeah,
But that's not just Hull, that's, across much of the planet, I guess.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, I find it I find it very frustrating. But like I say, we'll get too frustrated on this episode, because again, I think Hull is full of wonderful people, great places and great establishments run by people from different parts of the world and different parts of the country, and from all different backgrounds. And there's great examples if you look all over Princess Avenue, Newland Avenue, Beverley, across the East Riding of people that have come here and made incredible lives for themselves, and whether it's food, whether it's music and arts. There's some incredible places that wouldn't exist, in my view, without people coming to Hull and experiencing it, and adding their own life experience from their culture and background. So props to those people that if they catch this, I have a lot of respect for people that have come to Hull from different backgrounds and built something for themselves. I think it's amazing, and any city's better for that. This one is a little bit of an odd one, and I'm going to give it to Eddie first. I will give the question to Sam as well, in case there's anything he's experienced or learned since he's come to East Yorkshire. Eddie, do you have a random Hull or East Yorkshire fact for me that you would like to share with other people? Anything that people might not know that you'd like them to know?
I think everyone probably knows this that one though. But John Venn, the creator of the Venn diagram, is from Hull.
Ah, I didn't know
So
that.
that you wouldn't have the Venn diagram if it wasn't for us, you know.
There you go. You see, Hull embedded in
We could be
in
men with Venn.
men with Ven. We should always be men with Ven. Sam, anything to add to that? Do you have a random fact that you've perhaps learned since your arrival in East Yorkshire or Hull?
In 1801, one of the first recorded sightings of a UFO happened in Hull.
Did you just hit that? Are you on Google right now? Did
No,
you
no,
Google?
no, no, I just made it up.
You made it. You made.